Yeah.
So I had to
Yeah,
go in yesterday.
sorry about that.
I know, it's okay. I had to think and remember where it was.
Okay, it's 5:30. We have a quorum. I called the meeting to order. Tyler, do you have all the packets? Because
Yeah, sorry, who needs one?
Just me.
There we go, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
So let's go with Ron and the approval of the minutes.
I'll give Doug and Jennifer a chance to peek at it.
Oh, I looked at it.
Okay,
Mhm, I did. I looked at it beforehand.
and then we'll wait for a motion in a second. Unless you have any questions.
Chance to look at it.
Pardon me?
Have you had a chance to look at the meetings?
Yeah,
The
I
meeting minutes?
Yeah, I've glanced over it, I think.
They looked good to me.
Right.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the October 6th meeting minutes.
Second.
Those in favor?
All right.
Okay, good. Mr. Patton isn't here, so we'll skip his liaison report. Hopefully he'll be here next month. Recruiting update. Anybody have any good news on recruiting? Tyler, you gotten anything?
I have not received
I
anything.
appreciated the fact that you sent out an email. I assume that's to the list of people who get your
Yes,
email update every, okay,
yeah,
Mhm.
good,
so still haven't heard anything, but
okay.
here's hoping, so.
Hope Village has changed their rules on announcements on Tuesday morning coffee. So, and you have to get on the list in advance, and I failed to do that last week. And we are not having a meeting tomorrow morning because it's, for any of you that are interested, it is the bazaar. So this Christmas bazaar, which is always very good there. So I will do an announcement the following week. I'll get on the agenda. CLG review results. Those are in your packet. It is one page or maybe 2 pages.
Is the next one?
It's the CLG review,
Okay,
and I thought I saw it in
I
there.
think I put it in there.
Maybe it's in this packet. Oh, here it is. Program review. It looks like this. It's two-sided. And this is what the information that we got from Curry when she went through, this is her notes. And I really appreciated the fact that she took notes because I did, and mine were very incomplete compared to hers. So these are the things that the comments are where she's giving us thoughts about what we should be doing. And I thought this was really timely to get this because if we're talking about what we're going to be doing next year, I think there's some good ideas here that actually fit really well with some of what is in the historic preservation plan, but also some things, other things too, so. And some of the things we're actually working on, like the fact that our we don't have the landing site for historic preservation information. That's something that Tyler and I are going to be working on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, some of this is good stuff that we're doing.
Is this something that you sign and send back over? Is this the staff liaison or Jamie?
I don't think we have to sign anything.
Okay,
It's just, this is just Curry's. I wonder,
this is, oh, I think she was supposed to sign it,
Send
yeah. I
the
see.
signed copy, maybe?
Yeah.
and I wanted to tell all of you, November 20th, I'm in line with CLG review, and I'll let Dawn know about this as well. There will be a CLG online workshop. Those are typically attended by, I'm going to say 80% of the people there are from planning departments, and about 20% are actual commission members from different cities. But usually the topics are really informative. SHPO does a great job of turning a Zoom meeting into something that's not just straight people talking. I mean, they do breakout groups really well, and that sort of thing. They just do a really nice job of having it more interactive and more yeah. So I really recommend it, and I will send out all the information. So everybody is invited, it's wide open. And I let Dawn know because it's possible that we could have somebody there from planning too, which would be good. ILS project. I sent a note to Bridget, who is the program or the project manager from Willamette Cultural Resource Associates, and said, you know, we are ready anytime you are to do, because part of the ILS requirements that SHPO has is we have to have a public meeting. So we are going to, I gave her a couple of options and she picked our March meeting for her option. And one of the things that we haven't done a lot of this year, and I thought this is a really good opportunity to do that, is to really do some outreach and some public engagement. So I put together a communication timeline of things that we can do to make this report more involved, you know, get more involvement from the people in town. So I'll just pass this around to all of you. Take one, pass it on. You've seen this, Ron. Maybe pass one down to, I'll give you one to pass down to Emma. So, Tyler, I'd really like to get us in the city council meeting room if we can. So I've got you down for getting us the city council meeting room, if you can reserve that.
For February?
It'll be March.
Oh, for March.
Yeah. So then I'll write a letter to all of the property owners because we want them to know specifically what we're doing and when and where, so they can ask questions and all of that sort of stuff. And then we'll mail those out to them. Social media posts, I want to do a press release as well. And the idea is to invite people to come in and ask questions. We can do a citizen input section where people can ask questions about, you know, or if they have, I really want to emphasize the fact, if you have a home that you think is historic, you know, this is the time to let us know about it so we can keep it on the list if you're interested in maybe having an intensive level survey, or if you want us to give you more information. And thank you, Emma, for bringing this because we have a lot of old information in here too. So, and I will also go before the city council and invite them to come. So one of
So it'll be the March HLC meeting.
March.
Same time, same time as usual, same day.
Same day, yeah. It might go a little longer just because
Yeah.
once you include the public, then things get a little, go on, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'll reserve that.
Carol, for that, have you already been in touch with the property owners?
They knew. Now, two of them really gave the team a bit of a hassle because I don't know what happened, but I guess maybe they didn't read them. They saw the letter was from the city of Canby and maybe thought it was just yeah. But yeah, they all knew. And if they didn't know now, they knew when everybody came and stood in front of their house and took photos of it. I think the only one we have a problem with is the lady who died and it's her estate. We didn't know that. Yeah, so I'll see if I can find out from Nora who's really handling that now. Yeah.
Is this an opportunity for students to attend that meeting in March,
Sure.
like extra credit? If they're applying to colleges, they need to have done certain things in the community.
Yeah, I will let Sue Winter know and Chris Banks.
And then you mentioned different stuff in the city council. But
Oh, they'll be invited. Yeah. Good point. I want to get this down before I forget. Anything else on the ILS status? Any questions or anything? Thoughts on the communication? Ron mentioned.
I do have some questions about the agenda for March, but I don't need to take up time here.
Okay.
Because I've not been through a public hearing with, is it a public meeting or a
It's a
public?
public meeting, it's
hearing?
not a hearing.
So you still allow citizen input like we do every.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-minute rule.
Yeah, you can do that if you want. I mean, we can. And then we've got the timer if we're down in the city council meeting, so yeah. It's just nice, I think, to have a, technically, all our meetings are open. Technically, anybody can come and talk. But I think it makes it a little more inviting if you let it be known ahead of time and also hold it downstairs where people could just walk in. So in your packet, you also would have received, and it looks like looking ahead. So what I've tried to do in there, and this is on the next topic, which is website revised plan, Carol and Tyler. We are meeting tomorrow. Our goal is to get that first page done in November. So we're done with that one, yes. And if you haven't been looking at it lately, we do now have a banner photo across the top. And I like it a lot. It's not what I thought it was going to be. It's not City Hall. It's one of the photos from a cemetery clean after we were done. It's 5 of us that are standing there. Doug is there. I'm there. Charlotte Leon is there. For those of you who don't know that Charlotte Leon at one time was the chair of the Oregon Commission on Historic Cemeteries. And I invited her one year to come join us. She lives in Wilsonville and she joined us. And so we're all carrying those little signs that are, this place matters, the ones you ordered from the National Trust for Historic Preservation Month. So it's a good picture and it shows us smiling and it shows us doing something. So, and I liked it a lot. So the thing we're waiting on is we have to apparently get permission or get help from Civic Plus to change the colors of our, and that's the next thing that's going to happen. And then we've got a few little things we need to just fill in, and I've got some photos for you that we can add to. Yeah. Okay. So hopefully it'll be all done by the end of the month. Then that takes care of website. And we're going to be working on it in December. I don't know what your timeline, what you look like in December and January, but I'd really like to get it done in January for sure. Okay. Yeah. And I'll need to, and I have it on my to-do list to get a hold of Olivia because I want to make sure we get photos of each of the sites that are each of our historic sites. The only one we don't need, she's already done City Hall. The only one we don't need really is the Night House. Really isn't worthy of a picture right now. It's not, it's still looking pretty see out there. Fairgrounds. Interesting. I met with, found out from Tyler that Ryan Crow, who is the director of the fairgrounds, the event center, was interested actually in listing one of the properties on the National Register, which you could have knocked me over with a feather. I remember when we did the RLS, I remember you, Tyler, asking me now, Brian's really concerned and will this put anything on us? And yeah, any, stuff that we won't like. And so I was really surprised. But I did go and meet with him and he is really wants to do 2 things. He wants to redo the pavilion. The pavilion was redone in 1977 and they added a 2nd story and they added something on the east side. It's actually a ramp that helps you get to the 2nd story. It's the longest ramp in the world. Oh my gosh. If you need to get in steps, it's the place to go. So he wants to return, he wants to take that 2nd story off and actually return it to its original look. Because right now, according to the RLS, the reconnaissance level surveys that we had done, thank heavens we had that done, that was about 2 or 3 years ago. That particular building has been altered to the point where it would not qualify for any kind of designation. There is something called a Diamonds in the Rough grant, and it's kind of got his project written all over it, and it's something that Oregon Heritage puts out. It's a maximum of 20,000, which probably would not get him everything he needs. But if he got a Kinsman grant first, that then gives him the money that he needs to kind of show in the Diamonds in the Rough grant that he could get the rest of it. So I think there's a good chance we can get him that money. Now, he's not ready to do anything for probably at least 6 months because he's got a building construction is going on right now. And he's just up to his eyeballs and making sure that that goes the way it needs to go. So we both sort of agreed that we're meeting again in June to just kind of regroup and see what needs to happen next. When I went to the State Historic Preservation person, Katie Abrams, to get kind of a, okay, how do you feel about me putting this on the National Register? Should we get an intensive level survey done first or whatever? She came back and said, you know, you're really, it's gonna be a real problem with the National Park Service reviewer if you do this, a single property on that fairground site. So she suggested, and she kind of referred back to the reconnaissance level survey. Now, when I went back to the reconnaissance level survey, it was either way seemed to be okay, but she's really saying, no, you really need to go with a historic district. Historic district is way above my pay grade in terms of being able to write one of those. So we'd have to hire someone to actually do that. It means that the historic zoning overlay would cover all, or at least a good significant portion of the fairgrounds, at least where all the buildings are. Now, the nice thing is you've got the parking lot kind of on the west end and then the buildings sort of on the east end. So we could probably do that pretty easily. There are 9 properties that are eligible contributing and 1 property that is eligible special. So we've got enough sort of accumulated heft there that there's enough to hold historic preservation historic district. So that's the way we're gonna go. Now it's strictly up to Brian. I got back to him and let him know because I did also let him know that we aren't going to do anything until we have approval from whoever is the keeper of the money at the county, because we need property owner approval. And I don't want to get halfway into it and then have the county commission say, no, you're not going to do that. So we just have to get that first. So he knows that's his job to get that sometime between now and June, hopefully. It could be that it's just the chairman of the board, but I kind of suspect the chairman of the board reports to the county commission. And my suspicion is you've got to get the county commission approval. Yeah. So, and on our form that we have, that we use as a city for local designations, we have a spot right on there where the property owner has to sign, which is really cool because that keeps it all together in one space. The National Register, since we are the only state that requires property owner approval, you know, they don't have that on their form. So he's going to have to get a special letter. I told him to put it on letterhead and all that stuff. So, but we'll have to just file that away with in the planning department. Ron, or anybody have any question about the fairgrounds?
Carol, has there been any discussion about the impact of the new building on the historic character of the district?
No. Well, I will say that, you know, all of the Oregon Heritage folks did the tour. So they would, I know Brian would have showed them the new building and you were on one of the tours, right? So if they
So
didn't
they have a
like,
sense of it.
they absolutely know
Okay.
it's there, yeah.
Okay, that was my fear of just like they didn't know it was coming.
Well,
He announced it on the tour.
yeah, yeah, it might be a problem going forward,
Mhm.
which is why county commissioners might, I mean, that building will not be a problem. It's there. It's part of the landscape
Yes.
now. It's just going forward, getting approval for anything new, just like the shed at the depot. It's a little more complicated. That's why we want property owner approval
Yeah.
before we move.
Yeah, but then you'll have every, right, it'll be complex, but everything is well documented to get that designation, so you at least have a lot of information to go
Yeah.
forward.
And I gave your boss, Don, a heads up because, you know, the design review requirements are gonna go up exponentially. Because, you know, right now we've got 6 properties. That's gonna give us 10 more. Then, so
That's true.
everything they touch out there, you know, they could just move in a shed and we've got to
Yeah.
do design review. So, yeah.
Well, in that, I don't know where you draw the boundaries, but basically, if you look at the tax lot maps, everything with the buildings is one tax lot. So, you know, you touch something in the side parking lot over here and every building over here is if you go by, you know, lot where you say the scope of the work is.
So is the fairgrounds, is it all one tax lot?
Mhm.
Except, yes, like the parking across Fourth is a separate tax lot.
Yes, and we don't care
I
about
think
that.
there's one little sliver at the top that is, like, there's a couple of lots that go from the north edge of the big lot to 10th, but basically it's one lot, yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing Brian and I talked about were the trees. There's a grove of pine trees that he said is on the northeast side. And those were planted in the 1930s, and it was a New Deal project. Now, I don't know if it was WPA or if it was CCC, but those would be something that we might be able to get an Oregon Heritage Tree designation for. There's also a grove of firs that were there at the time that the lot was sold by the Aaron Wade estate to the county and to turn into the fairgrounds. So both of those could be eligible. So that's on my list of things to be worried about. Anything else? Ron, comp plan integration.
Okay, first of all, Emma will be leaving to take another job as senior planner for the city of Hillsborough. And I want to thank you for your assistance with this. We had a meeting, Carol and I attended with Don and Emma. I don't remember if you were there. I don't think.
Yes, you-
Yeah.
yes.
You were there, okay. Tyler was there as well. And we went through a draft that Emma prepared. And then that draft was then discussed with the planning commission. You can correct me if I'm misstating. And the planning commission feedback was, let's see if you can redo some of those ideas. So the document is speaking with one voice. So there had to be a revision. And there was more detail that we wanted to see in terms of historic preservation, but really doesn't belong in a comprehensive plan. So that was amended or revised, and Emma has since produced a draft that reflects those changes. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
No, I think that sounds about right. You know, yeah, we started with what's everything in the historic preservation plan and how do we incorporate it? And, you know, we've kind of been simplifying step by step. So this latest draft is probably the most simplified we'll get, is the intention, my intention at least. And so the next step is for those policies with all of the comprehensive plan policies to go to a city council work session mid this month. And so just depending on capacity and whatnot, some of the changes that we discuss in the next couple weeks might not make it in, since I'm leaving planning a little short-staffed. But, you know, everything is still in draft form, and council is a work session, not, you know, the final. So we're.
And I can send that out to everybody so that you all see, get a copy of that. Yeah, there's a couple of things to, first of all, I thought it was interesting that the planning commission thought we were wordy. The whole idea of cultural landscapes and farm, yeah, that is in now the comp plan. But it doesn't take into account what we do when they're in the urban growth boundary. That has to, it's sort of a redo. So we've had a long conversation with Don about that. In conjunction with that, what's happening in Salem is there is a rulemaking process going on that specific issue. And so things are going to be, it'll be really out of the hands of our planning department. They'll have to be following those rules. And rulemaking, typically, the one that I was familiar with was the middle housing rulemaking took place, and Oregon Heritage people are at the table for anything that's involved with land use. So I know there is somebody from SHPO that's sitting at the table as part of the rulemaking, and it's where they sit down, and you know, you've got somebody there from the land department and probably somebody there from who knows what other departments. And they're talking about how these rules will impact existing things making sure that there's no conflict and that everything is okay. So we will see those soon. I am thinking that I am going to send an email to Curry Gill. We've got an Oregon Heritage Conference coming up in late April, early May. And I think that it would be really good to have a session at that conference on that rulemaking so that we can understand where they are, because I think they'll be pretty close to being done. Or do you think it's the end of the year?
I know Don's said a general time that he's heard, and I can't remember now.
But it's
I
out
think
there.
it's towards end of twenty
But
twenty-six.
still, we could get an update.
Yeah,
at
but
the
they're
conference.
working on, it, and that, I think like each iteration is public information, so. I realized one more thing I wanted to add is what we discussed also in kind of simplifying some of the policies. We talked about creating a more formal action plan to maybe adopt with council or give some visibility to the action plan pieces, so those pieces don't live in the comprehensive plan because that's more like policies for the 20-year horizon, so we don't want an action step that'll happen in 2 years. That's irrelevant to be, so to track those and kind of make sure there's a concise document and visibility to that document. We talked about kind of putting that all together into something as
Yes.
well.
Okay, anything else? I just mentioned the upcoming Oregon Heritage Conference, and in your packet, you have this. I just copied it off of their website. We don't know a lot about the sessions yet. I would say that the 2 days that are going to be the most intense in terms of sessions will be April 30th and May 1st. May 2nd is a cemetery workshop that goes all day, so I wouldn't worry too much about that unless you want to go to a cemetery workshop. April 29th is, the first day is mainly meetings, so you've got the Oregon Heritage Commission meeting and Main Street team meeting and those sorts of things, so it really is a 2-day conference. We have money to pay for registration. And so if you want to go, I really encourage you to go. It's in Woodburn, so it'll be close. They're doing some of the sessions in Mount Angel, which makes it kind of fun. It's a great way to network and to meet folks. I always get great ideas out of their sessions. So do let me know if you plan to attend or not, so I can kind of plan, because I didn't tell Dawn that if Hardy that I would, we would pay for somebody from planning going to. And I would really like to, if we're not using up all our money, I know Oregon Heritage wants us to use up all our money that they've given us. I was going to invite Brian Denteman from the Canby Historical Society. I thought he would be a good person to invite. And I offer to pay for it. We will pay for it out of our funds. And again, I'll send you something on the CLG workshop. That's another good networking opportunity. And I'll send that to Dawn as well. Did I copy you all on with the photos from the Oregon Heritage visit? And I didn't look to see if I copied all of you.
I didn't see a lot of photos in there, just a handful.
I put in 4 photos, I think, and then some comments from the folks. You did see it.
I saw something. I'm not
Okay.
sure how many. Yeah. there was
Okay.
A little bit.
Good. So we got some really positive comments. I think it went fairly well. We had folks here from, well, as they were trickling in that first day on the 15th, I was asking people what, one at a time, it was easy to have a conversation where they were coming from. And it was Enterprise, that was 6 hours. Baker City, that's 5 hours. We had Ashland, Sutherland. I know Sutherland's 2.5 hours. I drive that one a lot. Let's see what else. Pacific City. So we really had quite a few people from around the state. So it was really nice. I don't think we had a lot of glitches, a couple of little things. The unfurl was never open, so we couldn't get into that section. And I think everybody was pretty disappointed in that. And then the group that came through last on that Wednesday, by that time, Blush and the shops were closed by 5 o'clock. So they didn't get to see this. But the next day, when I did the tours, I took them through. And then Of course, we had a train come through right in the middle of one of the tours. That's to be expected. That's just part of life. And then Rachel told me that were you in the first group were you in the A group?
I think so.
So they were the ones where Rachel wasn't quite there. in the
Yes, yep,
cemetery yet, because she thought, and I don't know where the communication got screwed up on this, but the driver went to Zion first and then went to Baker Prairie. And so she wasn't quite there yet because but it all worked out.
Yeah.
And she sent me some questions that she had fielded while she was there, which I thought was great. And one of them was, and I'm sure it came from somebody who was on the cemetery commission, asking about if there were any stones there that had woodmen of the world.
Yes, there are.
There are, I
Yeah.
bet there are, yeah.
There's at
So
least one that I know of.
I'm sure there's probably more. So that prompted me to go out and purchase this, which if we start a library somewhere, it'd be great. This is called Stories in Stone, and it just explains, it's a guide to what the kinds of things are that you see on stones and tells you what the meaning is.
Oh,
So, yeah, yeah. So that's cool.
Mhm. Everybody was very nice, very polite, and
How many
very-
did you get?
Probably over 20.
Really? That's,
Yeah,
I thought
quite a few people, plus there were people that I knew, that neighbors and.
They said, "What the
It was
hell?"
like,
They took the
I think
opportunity.
everybody, well, it's like everybody found out that they could come in the house, so they got all excited, and so, but everybody was so pleasant, and it was really nice to put some faces to names
Yeah.
that, I hadn't met Curry before, I mean, just different people.
Yeah,
So, and it was, I thought it was actually quite fun,
oh,
so,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, they had a lot of good things to say about your house,
Oh,
because a
that's
couple
nice.
people even mentioned to me, wow, you must have photos out of when they had it jacked up.
I had a slideshow on my iPad
Oh, okay.
of all of the progression of it, and I had the history, and the one thing that they did say is they didn't really get the history of the places until like literally that day.
Oh, yeah,
So they were happy about that, but yeah, they saw the house all jacked up and all the progression of it. And Robert, my general contractor, and the architects were there,
no,
so.
oh, wow.
Yeah, so they talked to people about it, and Robert
They
showed
loved it.
people around, and so they got kind of like a personalized thing, so it was
Wow.
real fun.
Yeah, and-
but
Yeah, I got really positive feedback from
Nice,
Peggy at Mark Prairie too. And then I got a lot of positive feedback from the folks about going to Mark Prairie.
Yeah.
So,
good.
yeah, it was all really positive. Okay. National Register for City Hall. Yes, that has been delayed one more time. Carol spent a lot of time getting things ready for the Heritage Organization visit and sending them packets of material and stuff.
Mhm.
So I should have the section 7 completed by December 11th. So then I'll sit down with Katie Abrams at that time. We'll walk through it and make sure it's okay. And I have to, yeah, and then I've got a few things to do, but I feel more like I've got a grip now on what I'm doing. So that's good. Design review training. I have it scheduled. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send each of you a link to a YouTube video. Is everybody able to access YouTube? Okay, cool. It is Joyce Sears. She is with SHPO. She's going to walk through all of the elements of design that are covered in the Secretary of Interior standards. And with examples. So it's about an hour long. And so that will tell you what's in there. And I'll send you a link to the Secretary of Interior standards too. It's 180 pages. Watch Joyce Sears first. Don't read the 180 pages. She will then, she's going to join us then on our February meeting, and we will go through it with her. So we can, make sure you're writing down your questions as you're watching it. And she and I talked, and probably we'll just, I walked through with her, what I see is everyone needs to know for if we have a design review, you know, we're not gonna be using all 180 pages of the Secretary of Interior standards. There's, you know, you're focused on what's the alteration request? What's the baseline for this structure? And the baseline is whatever is in the application that was originally put in, that was approved. That's the baseline. That's what that window that they want to change looked like at the original. And you have an assessment in there of whether that is historically accurate or not, or historically has integrity or not. And then also the interior standards or the secretary standards. So we'll go through all of that, and she'll be probably joining us via Zoom. She also suggested that I reach out to our city attorneys. I don't think she knows that our city attorneys are actually not us, they're someplace else, but reach out to them and ask them if they would join us too, to answer questions about that. So if you have did all of you watch the video that the attorneys put together for how to handle public meetings, public hearings? Okay, I will get it. I'll send that out as well.
Will you be reaching out to Randy in regards to the attorneys getting involved with that?
Who,
Randy, the city administrator?
am I supposed to talk to him first?
Yeah, he's,
Yeah, I got slapped down the last time I tried to do that,
okay,
so yeah, not by him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
just a
I,
heads up for going through the city attorney, we're working with the city administrator first.
so if I've already sent her an email, they'll just slap me around a little bit.
Possibly, I'm not sure, yeah.
You know, that's such a crock, but pardon me. If you're going to hire outside attorneys, then that's the kind of thing you gotta live with.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think
Yep.
the reason for that is they want to be able to avoid having people spend a lot of time with the city attorney that wastes the attorney's time.
Okay. I promise I won't waste your time. I won't. Okay. Mm. I don't react well to. So, anything else on design review?
I remember we had, I don't know if I've seen a video on it, but we definitely had written guidance
Yeah,
on that at one point. It's
Well-
been probably 3 years, but I know there was a really well done
I'll check. See if we-
handout on that.
Yeah,
It was some time ago.
yeah. Well, you know, every time you have a public hearing, whoever is in charge, whether it's the mayor or the commission chair, gets a written guide. And
It
I
should
can
be, yeah,
we can probably get one from the planning commission.
I have one at home
Do you?
somewhere. I
Yeah,
have the one that we had, because we actually had that when we did the City Hall.
City Hall, yeah.
In that packet. Go back and look and get it out as well.
Yeah.
written.
So,
Just in case we want a little bit of side reading,
yeah,
everybody.
yeah. And, you know, they always read it at the beginning too, so
Yes,
that everybody's
yes.
really clear about, you know, you cannot discuss, you know,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was more than that. It was more like a general.
oh,
guide.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to see
I'll
that
have
if
to
you've
see
got
that.
it.
I can see. that.
Okay, so what's next here? I'm losing my timeline. So this is, I guess we have people wandering around out here. Did anybody have any questions about the timeline I put out? I was just trying to get us to think ahead and see when things, and Tyler, you and I have some big dates on here we've got grant reports that are due, and I tried to highlight those, and those are in December.
Okay. Is that the looking ahead one?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, you have to submit a grant report by the end of the year, and I need to write it. And we need everybody's volunteer hours
Okay,
for the grant projects only. And we have no meeting in January. And then we have a SHPO, this just outlines what has to happen for the rest of the year. But I did want to talk about, at least now, talk about ideas for projects for that period from June through, say, June the following year, when we really won't have any CLG money left. CLG projects will be over. And there's a couple of things I can just throw out that I saw in, one of the things you've got in here is the historic preservation plan. This thing right here, where I went through and made notes, they're barely legible. There are some ideas in here that would be easy for us to do. One of those ideas is, it's called windshield tours. That's recommended on in the short-term recommendations, which is windshield surveys on top of that. Conduct a preliminary survey of all resources within the city built prior to 1940. We have a list, if you haven't looked at it, in the historic preservation plan. All of our 1940 resources are listed there. Some of them may no longer be there, but the idea would be to look at them and see if we could figure out if they require, if we would want to have more survey work done. Item number, just below that, 1, 2, 3, item down from the top, review Westwood Acres, Dahlia Park Edition, Oliver's Editions 1 through 3, Filbert Grove Edition, and Filbert Grove Annex to determine if there is an architectural association and enough integrity of the properties to support a reconnaissance level survey. So these are subdivisions inside Canby that have not had reconnaissance level surveys. I'm not sure where all of them are, but most of these I think are on the north side. I will say that that 10th Street corridor is filled with 1960s, 1970s ranch style homes, many of which probably still have historic integrity and probably would be worthwhile. But we need to do what's called a windshield survey. So that's where we just literally, 2 of us get in a car, 1 person drives, because you can't do this with just 1 person, and 1 person is sitting in the shotgun seat, and you're just noting how many properties. And it's a pretty easy thing to do, and it doesn't cost us any money, and it's just us. But it also gives us a really good understanding of some of the neighborhoods we have. And Emma, can planning department give us for these, it's on page 82, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now,
Wood Acres, Dahlia Park Edition.
yeah, can you give us the boundaries for those?
See what we can find.
The boundaries, then that would really give us a starting point.
Yeah, I can poke around and see. Lady might know how to find like historical subdivision additions.
Yeah, I know probably they're on CMAP somewhere, but I haven't looked at CMAP to see if I can find
I
them.
know you can do it by, like, if I know where some of the properties are, I can kind of work backwards, but
Yeah.
it's probably not the most efficient way to do it. But yeah, let me ask somebody.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you very much. The other thing we could do is, there has been some discussion, I know, in this group about maybe finishing up the work at Zion, cleaning work. So we could be doing a cemetery project. That's another thing we could do. If we wanted to actually apply for a cemetery grant, those come available in March. And I think they are dispersed in May. So it's a little bit weird in terms of time, but one of the things we could do is the brochure, and Tyler, I'm looking at you, the brochure that we have for Baker Prairie Cemetery is actually a program, because that was a program, we had a rededication ceremony. But we could redo that to make it actually a walking tour of the cemetery. Yeah, and so
That'd
we
be
could
awesome.
use some money for that. Now, my question is, because you had mentioned something the last time I talked about maybe doing a grant that we hadn't talked about. Is that gonna be a problem finance to pop out a grant like that. I mean, there is a component, a matching component that we need for that grant, but it's not 100%.
Yeah. And that one is in March, you said?
Yeah.
And it was,
So it'll still be in this fiscal year.
so we wouldn't pay it out in the next fiscal year?
Well, you don't, yes, it would be paid out in the next fiscal year.
Oh, then I think it would be fine.
Okay, because we can tie
Cause then we
that.
would just have to put it into this year's, cause we plan. And then they would approve it prior to June.
I mean, this is another thing that's gonna make me crazy, is because that's a different than that used to be. It used to be, you know, we could just pop those puppies out
Yeah.
if we had a good idea. And now you have to know like 18 months in advance. I'll go talk to your finance director and say, come on, buy me a crystal ball. I can't know this stuff.
Right, yeah. How much is that, how much would that one be, you think?
Well, if the plan was just to redo the brochure, we'd need to hire a graphic designer. There'd be some research involved, but we just do that.
Yeah.
And then there's the printing. So we're probably talking about a $2,500 project max. So it's also,
I don't think that would be an issue, but I could get confirmation on that.
okay.
Yeah.
We'd also probably throw in buying some D2 and some supplies just to do that. So maybe take it up to 3,500
And I think we do have some D2 stuff,
D2 left.
but we could always use more, I'm sure.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
God, I'd be surprised if we still had some D2 left, but okay.
When's the last time that one was cleaned? That big of a freeze mess?
It has been 8 years, yeah. Actually, still looks pretty good.
Last like 10, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to last about 10 years, yeah. We're not quite there yet.
So that was a Baker Prairie walking tour brochure.
Yeah,
And the grant starts in March and then it ends.
well, grant application starts in March, so the grant period probably starts May 1st. So, and we wouldn't spend anything until, so we'd probably do the cleaning in the fall. That'd be the best time to do that. And then we can just, between you and I, we can just figure out when's the best time to hire a graphic designer and
Yeah.
we can play with it. So I'm just throwing these ideas out now. What I'm thinking is next year or next meeting in January would actually solidify, say, okay, let's do this one, or let's do these 3 or 4. So take a look at the short-term items in the historic preservation plan. Take a look at what's in the CLG review that we had. And I also threw out, just for the heck of it, sent you all the designation criteria for All-Star Community. Through and did a analysis of that to say what can we do and what can't we do? What is feasible? Time I looked at the designation criteria, it was a little looser than it is now. It is, and that was about 4 years ago. So in going through it this time, I saw that they have really tightened some things up and it makes it a little more difficult. A really good example is for the museum criteria, it's always been that you had to submit this collection policy. And so the collection policy, they have actually a collection policy at the museum, which is cool, and we can submit that. But they now have a caveat in there that has to address the NAGPRA. For those of you that are not familiar, NAGPRA is the Native American Grave and Repatriation Act. Don't laugh. Now, I have talked to Nora about this some time ago, and actually she and I went toe to toe, and she is absolutely opposed to doing something. It's a federal law, for Pete's sakes, but yeah. So it's we're gonna get a lot of these were dependent on the Canby Historical Society, and their desire for change is pretty low. I mean, they really, keeping status quo is firm for them, and there are things in here that they would have to change in order to meet these requirements. So those are the things, many of the things that ended up being fours.
So you're gonna ask if we could still proceed with this by being a connected community?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's the wild card right now.
Okay.
If we've got Main Street, then that gives us how many? 13? Means we've only got to pull in 2 of the really difficult ones.
Oh, I see. So we only need 15 out of this?
We need 15 out of the 24, yeah. So but these again are some good ideas of things that we could pursue during this period when we're sort of in limbo. For example, in the designation criteria for the All-Star Heritage Community, they have honoring 50-year businesses. In our historic preservation plan and in our code, there's a discussion about having some kind of award program. You know, you could easily marry those together, have it be part of Historic Preservation Month, which is another thing that's in our historic preservation plan, that we need to continue doing that, and actually put those together and come up with some sort of plan. We can't get, there's no way we can get to the 50-year business thing within 5 years, because you have to show that you've been doing the 50-year business recognition for 5 years in a row to actually get it to count. So but it still is an idea of something that we can start now. We did the 50-year business recognition 1 year, a couple of years ago. Tyler, you were there, weren't you? It was over at Cutsford.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We are very, very fortunate to have at the depot a list of the 1975 members of the Chamber of Commerce, which really is a super guide for telling us who's been around for 50 years. It gets a little dicey because you have to think about what counts as 50 years. I mean, Cutsford is a really easy example. Camping Builder Supply is a really easy example. Pretty much same family, same business, you know, same name. Look at Charbos. Technically, yep, because it was a spinning wheel for years and years and years, and then it became Wranglers, and then it became Charbos. But it's been basically a roadhouse. I mean, nothing has really changed about what's happening inside that building is they're feeding people and there's music.
Okay.
So we've got some that are,
I just was working on Potter's Industries, which is next to Wilson, and they got their C of O in 1978.
who's that?
Potter's Industries, it's one of the manufacturing industrial park or area right across from the police station.
Oh.
They're one of those in there. Yeah, they've been there since 78 or 9. I can't remember. I looked at it today. I should know.
And a battery plant too.
I mean, Gunderson Insurance is another company, I think, that's been here forever.
Yeah.
And so we have some that are kind of hidden away. There's a couple in the industrial park. There's a company that makes bags,
Oh, Oregon back.
Oregon Bag. Yeah, they've been here for 50 years.
Yep.
The place where the tree was, that used to
Austin's?
packaging.
Oh,
Pacific
package
Rim.
containers.
Are they still doing packaging there?
No, they're doing doors now.
Oh, doors, okay, too bad. Because they were on my list of 50 for a while there.
It's
yeah, 'cause
now
they were like
Pac-
1970, I think, they started.
Pacific Architectural Wood Products is the new company.
Oh,
And there's a lot of other businesses been around 50 years.
yeah,
Austin's.
Austin's,
Yeah.
I remember when Wayne opened that.
yeah,
When Wayne opened up down in Barlow.
yeah, Austin's has been here, and then, yeah, and there's some weird things like the 76 Union Station, that's been here for 50 years.
Yeah, that was Geiger's.
And then technically Toledo's was Dairy Queen, and it still is kind of like, it's just got Mexican food now instead of ice
Right.
cream. So, I mean, we have, but yeah, it just gets a little, you know, where do you draw the line and how do you do that? So
Yeah.
I like the idea of having a big net, but some people might feel,
Okay.
From Malaris, don't forget them.
Yes, yes, they were in a different spot, but they're still there. And the tire shop too, the Schwab,
Oh,
I think
have they been there?
I don't know that they've been there, but I think there's been a tire shop there. It could have been Malaris before. I'm not sure where was Malaris before? Was it where it is now?
Just a stone's throw down from Napa.
Oh,
There's a
okay,
big white building. That's where
yeah,
Malaris was.
okay. And Wilco's been here for 50 years too, as I
Oh, yeah,
think.
they started out down on Ivy Street and then over there.
Yeah,
Actually started as Canby Co-op.
yeah. So we really do have a lot of
No.
local
Oh, yeah.
businesses, yeah. Okay, anybody have anything else for the good of the order?
Hmm,
Thank you all for coming.
all right.
Have a good